So altruism. Altruism is the idea that your moral purpose in life is to serve other people, other people's happiness, other people's well-being, is what you should be focusing your actions in life on. It should be the purpose of your life. To the extent that you serve them, to the extent that you provide for them, to the extent that you are sacrificing for their sake, to that extent, you are moral. To the extent that you are self-interested, you are bad. You are an immoral, evil person. Selfishness, altruism teaches us is immoral and therefore is associated with all immoral activities, with lying and cheating and stealing. Because it is immoral, it is packaged together with all the bad stuff, the murderers, the crooks, the thieves, the liars, the cheaters, all of those are all labeled as selfish, self-interested, egoistic. And so true morality has to be thinking of other people, because thinking of self is, this package deal tells us, all about lying, stealing, cheating. So it's a morality that teaches us that other people are the standard of value. Other people are the standard for which we should live towards. Everybody's moral purpose in life should be the well-being of the poor, the well-being of those who do not have, the well-being of those who have a need, a desire, something that you might have and they don't. But the very fact that they don't have it, the very fact that they need it or claim that they need it, places a moral responsibility on you to provide it. Altruism is this idea of your life is meaningless. Your life is at the service of others. Altruism is not about the recipients at the end of the day, because there is no way to help that recipient. And we don't know what will help that recipient. We have no idea what actually is good for other people. What is good for them? Only they can decide that. This is one of the reasons why central planning fails. Because only you know what your values are. Only you know how much you're willing to pay for those values, how valuable those values are. Only you know the benefits to you of any particular activity. A central planner can't get in your head, can't make those value choices for you. Reason is a faculty of the individual. So altruism is impossible. What altruism boils down to in the end is a demand for your sacrifice, a demand for your pain, a demand for you to give up something, to give up values. That's all it is. What they really want is to knock success, knock ability. This is the whole essence of egalitarianism. It's hatred of the good for being the good. It's hatred for success. It's hatred for ability. It's hatred of the people who have the money and have the funds. Success. That's what motivates it at the end. Now, most people don't buy into altruism. Not fully. And therefore, what most people do is they basically live what they consider themselves amoral lives. But they feel bad about it because people want to be good. They want to believe that they are moral. They want to believe that they are just. And they feel guilty. And to appease their guilt, they accept sacrifice. They become willingly altruistic. This is why when people ask me, isn't voluntary altruism okay? No, it's not. Because you're doing it out of a sense of guilt, not out of a sense of self-interest, not out of a sense of promoting yourself when you give to charity or something like that. If it's motivated by guilt, if it's motivated by a sense that, ooh, I'm too busy making money and I haven't sacrificed enough this year, and now I should sacrifice, so I'm going to give to charity, which I think a lot of charity is. A lot of charity is motivated by guilt. It's motivated by trying to buy yourself into a little bit of heaven. It's motivated by knowing that in most of your life, not just business, but most of your life generally, you're acting in your own self-interest. So most charity today is motivated by guilt. And then, of course, even then that you're not doing enough. You're still feeling selfish. And that causes you to support politics, political programs, political initiatives that result in your sacrifice. But that's okay. I deserve it. I deserve to be taxed. It's for a good cause. I should have done this voluntarily. Maybe I would have done this voluntarily anyway. But my neighbor wouldn't have done it voluntarily. So we have to force them to be good. Force isn't bad if it's for a good cause. So altruism becomes an excuse for political, for socialism, for political redistribution of wealth. And it has to be. Now, it's also an excuse for regulations because of the package deal around selfishness, right? So if somebody's selfish and they're a businessman, then we know they're lying, cheating, stealing, SOB. So we have to regulate them. We have to control them. We have to monitor them. And we trust the regulator to do all that because after all, he's doing it for the public good, for the common interest. He's ultimately doing it altruistically. And we trust altruism because altruism is moral. It's both explains the regulatory state and explains redistribution and explains the move towards authoritarianism. Because what is good? What is moral? What is good for the people? What is good for the community? What is in the public good? How do we know? How does anybody know? Well, says the authoritarian, I know. Altruism encourages unthinking. And encourages people not to think about problems. Because, for example, we know from studying economics that the free market is the best thing for poor people, but the free market doesn't involve sacrifice. So we need to help them even more. And we need a sacrifice in order to do that. And since not enough people doing voluntarily, just a little bit of force in the economy is good. And we know that the free market works, but I don't really trust those businessmen. So we need a little bit of regulation, not a lot, just a little bit of regulations. But notice how that distorts thinking. What do you mean? If the market works, it works. But altruism supersedes knowledge. It supersedes fact. It supersedes the fact that capitalism always works and socialism always fails. Because it says, but socialism is moral, so you have to do it. So it destroys our capacity to think about these issues. The minimum wage. Well, everybody knows deep down, studied a little bit of economics, the minimum wage hurts the most vulnerable, the poorest, the least qualified, the least educated, the least skilled. That's an economic fact. But you can't think about that. You cannot think about that because, well, raising the minimum wage must be good because it helps people. And it screws those businessmen. And we might have to pay for goods more money, and that's okay. That's a little bit of a sacrifice. It destroys your capacity to think logically about issues because it places the issue of sacrifice above everything else.